Good day, good people. It's your guy Lewis to the T. This is the 12th installment of Black History Month 2021. Today is Friday, February 12th, and I am so excited to talk to you guys today about Negro League Baseball. Yep, I dressed for the occasion. I got on my Indy Athletics jersey. I must admit, I only bought it because I knew it was a National Negro League jersey. But I also was interested in the team, and it was odd because it was sitting there amongst a lot of other jerseys. I saw it a couple summers ago and just decided to pick it up, and I figured, hey, I'll do the research later. I think I may have worn it only once, and then as I started putting together the Black History Month videos, I pulled it out, started doing a little research, and man, you guys may already know about this, but I totally went down the rabbit hole today. I was on YouTube and Wikipedia and Major League Baseball sites. I was reading all kind of articles because unbeknownst to me, the Negro League was actually comprised of other leagues of baseball for black men, or at that time, colored and Negro men. I did not realize that, so hopefully today's lesson will be as insightful to you as it was to me, or at least it was a lesson to me. I hope you guys will learn something. I'll do a little bit of reading today because I want to make sure I get these facts straight. The first formal baseball, or the first organized baseball game known to date happened in 1859, and it happened in November of 1859 between a team from Jamaica, Queens, New York, and Brooklyn, New York, which is like right across the bridge from me. So that was exciting to find out. And Jamaica, Queens ended up winning, and they won like maybe 53 to 43. And I was like, wow, that was a long game. That's a big score. Unlike today, you know, we get impatient, and games would never last long enough to go up to 54 versus 43. I don't think. Maybe they have. I haven't watched baseball in a while. But, you know, mentioning that, you know, it's amazing doing this research, understanding how people, black men were really trying to get these baseball teams going back in the day. And it's always amazing to me when I'm researching a particular subject about African-American people in this country that during a time like this, right? This is 1859 when the first organized baseball game happened between African-American men. So when you think about anything that currently is organized, you know that, you know, prior to that, you have all of these kind of informal, kind of like get-together teams, or you have something that was really not pulled together, right? So how many years before that had this actually started happening where they were playing baseball against each other and just not being recognized, right? So that was really intriguing to me. The other thing is, as I do look into these different subjects, it's so amazing how within this country, at the same time that you have these men forming baseball leagues, they're trying to be acknowledged by National Baseball Association, and it wasn't called that at the time. It was actually called the National, well, they recognized the National Baseball Players Association as kind of like the governing body of baseball, but you have them vying for this attention to be in athletics and to be in sports. You have senators that are sitting in government at this time, but you also have people facing the remnants of coming out of slavery, being in Jim Crow South, being in segregation, not being considered fully human, like out loud to their faces. So it's just amazing the great accomplishments being made, the strides being made, the struggles being pushed forth in the midst of all of this kind of chaos of who we were as African-American people. I smile about it to the extent that they still had that fortitude and that energy and that thought of mind to want to do something like that. And then it also makes me a little bit sad that we're basically still in that state. Of course things have changed. Of course things are different. We have it a lot better, but the idea that we still struggle just to have equality or be recognized for our value is just an amazing thought. It's something that kind of takes you again down that rabbit hole of the what ifs and the whys and the how did these things become. So you know, we'll get into a lot of that throughout the month, but I do want to make sure that I point out that in regard to Negro League Baseball, there was a guy who kind of initiated trying to formalize the baseball team. So in the 1860s, or in early 1860s, there was Octavius Cato, and Octavius Cato, I believe he was from Philadelphia, because that's the team that he really was out promoting, and the team that he was a part of was the Philadelphia team. He was going out trying to get them recognized, trying to get them noticed, you know, being more of kind of their management, creating teams for them to play against. He decided to petition the National Baseball League in order to have his team recognized. Unanimously, not only did they shoot him down as far, I'm sorry, can't use that term, Not only did they shut him down as far as creating a team, but they also put in a rule that said any team that would hire even one black baseball player would no longer be recognized as by the league. That is a very important point. And the point that it raises for me is it tells me that there were probably teams at this time that wanted to hire black baseball players. And so the league that was the governing body put this in place to ensure that they wouldn't. And I know this to be true because there would be no reason to outlaw it if no one was trying to do it, right? So it's one thing to say, hey, you guys are all black baseball team, we're not gonna recognize you, continue to have your own league. There's another thing to say, and those of you who currently have white baseball teams, you are not allowed literally to hire any of these players or we will not recognize you. I think that's a very powerful statement. It talks to the courage of individual organizations that were probably trying to get black players. It talks about the institutional white supremacy of the time that said we will not allow it. We do not want to see them competing with us. And it really just speaks to where we stand today, that historically this has always been the fight. It adds some context to why it's so important for people like Colin Kaepernick to be recognized for what he's truly trying to do. That he was not being disruptive to the game, that he actually was trying to highlight something that was much more important than our entertainment. So I know that was a lot of information, and that's not even scratching the surface on the number of leagues that were within the league. There were Southern leagues and Eastern leagues, and there was initially colored leagues, and then it turned into Negro leagues, and then at a certain point they didn't want to be called Negro leagues, but by that time the entire league itself had been disbanded. It was more of a historical footnote, and we want to keep these names in place because it adds context to what was going on at the time. We recognize that it's history, we recognize that we not refer to ourselves as colored or Negro anymore, but it's important that for history's sake we recognize who they were. So do some research, whether it's the Indy Athletics or another team. We know that the KC Monarchs is very popular, the winningest team in National Negro League Baseball. So look them up. Join me again tomorrow. Wherever you find this, make sure you like and you share. Drop some notes in the comments, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. It's Lewis to the T.